I found the hotel keycard in his jacket pocket on my birthday morning, room 217. Then I saw the receipt, $847 for champagne and roses for her. While I was home baking my own cake, I didn't confront him. I recorded everything, planned my exit, and vanished. What I did in the next 72 hours destroyed his entire world while I rebuilt mine. Before I reveal how one silent move made him lose absolutely everything, smash that subscribe button because what happened next? Even I didn't see it coming, and neither will you. You know that feeling when you wake up on your birthday and something just feels off? That was me on the morning of my 35th birthday. The bed was cold beside me. Kevin was already gone at the gym. His text said at 6 a.m. on my birthday. I should have known right then. But after 6 years of marriage, you get used to the excuses. You get comfortable in the routine of being disappointed. You tell yourself he's just busy, stressed, working hard for the family. You convince yourself that love looks different after a few years. You lower your standards so gradually that you don't even notice you're settling. I got up, went through my morning routine, got our 5-year-old daughter, Taylor, ready for school, and dropped her off with a smile on my face. Then I came back home to an empty house. No flowers, no card on the counter, no happy birthday note, nothing, just silence and the reality that I was about to spend another birthday alone. I decided to take Kevin's suit jacket to the dry cleaners. He'd asked me to do it yesterday, and I figured I might as well be productive on my special day, right? That's when everything changed. As I picked up the jacket, something fell out of the pocket and landed on the hardwood floor with a soft tap, a hotel keycard, white with gold lettering, room 217. My hands started shaking before my brain even caught up. I reached into the pocket and pulled out a crumpled receipt. The Grand Hotel last Tuesday. The night he said he was working late on a presentation. $847, champagne, roses, room service for 2. I stood there in my bedroom holding evidence of my husband's betrayal. And you want to know what I felt? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. No tears, no screaming, no dramatic breakdown. Just this cold, clear certainty washing over me. I wasn't even surprised. That's the part that hurt the most, realizing I'd known something was wrong for months, maybe longer, and I'd just chosen to ignore it. My phone was in my hand before I even realized what I was doing. I opened our banking app with trembling fingers, joint account, transaction history, and there it was. A trail of lies written in dollar signs, hotel charges, expensive dinners at restaurants we'd never been to together, jewelry purchases from stores I'd never received gifts from, 3 months of evidence right there in black and white. February 14th, Valentine's Day. He'd spent $600 at a jewelry store. I didn't get jewelry that Valentine's Day. I got a card from the grocery store and take out Chinese food because he was too tired to go out. The necklace he bought that day. It was around someone else's neck. I walked to the bathroom where I could hear the shower running. Kevin was in there, probably washing off the gym sweat or maybe washing off her perfume. Who knows anymore? I knew his phone password. It was Taylor's birthday. We'd always had each other's passwords. Transparency in marriage, right? What a joke. I unlocked his phone and started searching. At first, nothing. Then I noticed an app one didn't recognize. A hidden messaging app designed to look like a calculator. Clever. I opened it and my entire world cracked open. Messages with Amanda. Amanda from his office. Amanda, who I'd met at the Christmas party. Amanda, who'd smiled at me and complimented my dress while she was sleeping with my husband. Can't wait for tonight, baby. She has no idea. This birthday will be her last one as my wife. That last message was from yesterday about me. About my birthday. He was planning to leave me and he was discussing it with her while I was in the next room putting our daughter to bed. I screenshot everything, every message, every photo. There were pictures of them together, laughing at restaurants, holding hands in his car, kissing in parking lots. My hands were moving on autopilot now, backing everything up to my cloud storage. Evidence. I was collecting evidence, and I didn't even fully understand why yet. Some survival instinct had kicked in. Kevin came out of the bathroom, towel around his waist, and smiled at me. Actually smiled. "Hey, birthday girl," he said, like everything was normal, like he hadn't just been planning my destruction with his mistress. He walked to the dresser, pulled out a card, a cheap generic card that he'd clearly grabbed at a gas station, and handed it to me. "Happy birthday, babe. Sorry it's been a crazy week. I'll make it up to you this weekend. I promise." I looked at him, really looked at him, and I saw a stranger, this man I'd built a life with, who I'd trusted with everything, who was the father of my child. I didn't know him at all. And in that moment, standing there holding his pathetic last-minute card, I made a decision. I wasn't going to confront him. I wasn't going to cry or yell or beg for answers. I was going to do something he'd never expect. I was going to disappear. "Thank you, baby," I said. And I kissed him on the cheek, his face relaxed. He thought he'd gotten away with it. He thought I was still the fool who believed his lies. "I know you're busy. Don't worry about this weekend. We'll celebrate when things calm down." He looked relieved. Actually relieved that he didn't have to pretend to care about my birthday. "You're the best. You know that," he said, getting dressed for work. "I got to run. Big meeting today. Might be late again tonight." "Of course," I said sweetly. "I understand." The moment he left, I called my office and told them I was taking a sick day. Then I got in my car and drove straight to the best divorce attorney in the city. I'd done my research months ago during one of those sleepless nights when I'd suspected something but talked myself out of it. I bookmarked her website, told myself I was being paranoid, and tried to forget about it. Now, I was walking into her office with a phone full of evidence. Her name was Angela Martinez, and she had a reputation for destroying cheating husbands in court. I sat across from her, opened my phone, and showed her everything, the messages, the photos, the bank statements, the hotel receipts. She looked at it all, then looked up at me with something like respect in her eyes. "How long have you known?" she asked. "Since this morning, my birthday, actually." She shook her head. "And you came straight here, didn't confront him. What would be the point? He'd just lie. They always lie." "Smart woman," she said, leaning back in her chair. "This is clear-cut infidelity with documented evidence. We can file today if you want. He won't know what hit him." "File today," I said without hesitation. "And I need to know how to protect myself financially, our daughter, everything." For the next 3 hours, Angela walked me through everything. We filed for divorce that afternoon. We created a strategy to secure my assets, protect Taylor's future, and make sure Kevin couldn't hide or move money. I opened a new bank account and had my salary deposits redirected. I gathered copies of every important document, titles, insurance policies, tax returns. I became a woman on a mission. Then I did something that might seem extreme, but I needed to know the full truth. I drove to the Grand Hotel with that key card still in my purse. I walked up to the front desk and played the concerned wife. "I found this key card in my husband's pocket. Kevin Thompson. I'm worried he might have left something important in the room. Could you check your records?" The desk clerk, a young guy who looked uncomfortable, typed into his computer. His face told me everything before his words did. "I probably shouldn't tell you this, but Mr. Thompson has been a regular guest. Every Tuesday for the past 3 months, room 217. Every Tuesday. The night he said he had late meetings. The night I'd put Taylor to bed alone, eaten dinner alone. Convinced myself this was just marriage. Every single Tuesday he was 15 minutes away in a hotel room with her." "Thank you," I said quietly, and I left. I sat in my car in that hotel parking lot and finally let myself feel it. The anger, the betrayal, the humiliation, but most of all the grief. Not for him. I was already done with him, but for the version of me who'd believed in us. For the 6 years I'd given to someone who'd thrown them away for my daughter who was about to learn that her family was broken. I cried for maybe 10 minutes. Then I wiped my face, fixed my makeup, and drove home. I had work to do. The next 3 days were the performance of my life. Kevin came home that night late, of course, and I greeted him with a smile. I asked about his day. I made dinner. I acted like the devoted wife he thought I was. And all the while I was packing, not obviously, just my important things, documents, photographs, sentimental items, things I couldn't replace. I packed them in boxes and labeled them garage storage. Kevin never even noticed. I called my mother and asked if Taylor could spend the weekend with her. I need a few days to myself. I told her just to recharge. She was happy to take her granddaughter. I dropped Taylor off on Friday morning with her favorite toys and books, kissed her sweet face, and promised I'd see her soon. Friday evening, Kevin announced he had to work late again. I knew exactly what that meant. I knew he'd be at that hotel in that room with her. I tracked his location on our shared phone app and watched the little dot move across the screen, straight to the Grand Hotel, right on schedule. That's when I made my move. I loaded my car with the boxes I'd packed. I took one last walk through our house, the house we'd bought together, filled with memories that now felt like lies. I went to our bedroom and placed the divorce papers on Kevin's pillow. Right next to them, I left my wedding ring. And beside that, a simple note. I know about Amanda. I know about every hotel visit. I know about the lies. I'm done. Your lawyer will contact you. Don't look for me. No tears. No angry words. Just facts. Then I walked out of that house and drove away. I blocked his number. I blocked his family. I blocked every mutual friend we had. I checked into a hotel on the other side of town and sat on the bed in that quiet room, feeling the weight of the world lift off my shoulders. I was free. The calls started around 1000 p.m. I watched them come through on my blocked messages. 89 missed calls that first night. Voicemails I never listened to. Text messages I never read. He was panicking and I felt nothing. Not satisfaction, not revenge. Just peace. My lawyer called me Saturday morning. He knows, she said. His attorney called me at 7 a.m. Kevin's losing his mind apparently. Wants to talk to you. No, I said simply. That's what I told them. We proceed as planned and we did. Over the next few weeks, I learned through my lawyer what was happening in Kevin's world. And honestly, it was better than any revenge I could have planned. The affair came out at his office. Someone saw them together and reported it to HR company policy, prohibited relationships between employees in the same department. They launched an investigation. Amanda got transferred. Kevin got written up. His boss, who'd been grooming him for a promotion, lost all respect for him. The office gossip was brutal. Amanda dumped him 2 weeks after I left. Turns out she wanted him to leave his wife, not the other way around. She wanted the thrill of the affair, not the reality of dating a divorced dad with child support payments. He lost both of us in the span of a month. But here's what they didn't see coming. Here's the part that shocked everyone, including me. While Kevin's life was falling apart, mine was coming together in ways I never imagined. I used that separation time for intensive therapy. I worked through the betrayal, the pain, the years of making myself smaller to fit into his life. I reconnected with old friends I'd lost touch with because Kevin didn't like them. I joined a gym and started taking care of my body again. I got a new hairstyle, new clothes, started feeling like myself again. And then I did something I'd dreamed about for years, but never had the courage to try. I started my own business, digital marketing consulting. I'd been working in marketing for a decade, making other people's companies successful. Why not my own? I launched it 3 weeks after leaving Kevin. Within a month, I had my first major client, then another, then another. Word spread fast about my skills. I was good at this. Really good. And without Kevin's constant criticism and doubt, I was thriving. By month 3, I was making more than my old salary. By month 6, I'd hired a virtual assistant and had a waiting list of clients. The divorce hearing was almost anticlimactic. Kevin showed up looking like he'd aged 10 years. The judge reviewed all my evidence, the messages, the photos, the bank statements, the hotel records. Kevin's lawyer had nothing, no defense, no explanation that would hold up in court. I got primary custody of Taylor. Kevin got supervised visitation until he could prove stability. I got generous child support. I got to keep the house. And Kevin had to buy out my half of the equity. I got 3 years of alimony. I walked out of that courtroom victorious and Kevin walked out broken. His salary got cut after his demotion. Child support took most of his income. He had to move in with his brother because he couldn't afford his own place. Every time he dropped Taylor off for my custody time, he looked more defeated, more regretful, more aware of what he destroyed. 1 year after I found that hotel keycard, I was at Taylor's kindergarten graduation. I was sitting in the audience smiling, watching my baby girl receive her certificate when I felt someone sit down next to me. Kevin, he looked terrible, tired, older, broken. "You look amazing," he whispered. And I did. I was wearing a dress I'd bought with my own money from my successful business. My hair was styled. My confidence was radiating. I was genuinely happy. "Thank you," I said politely. "I'm sorry," he continued, his voice cracking. "I'm so sorry for everything. I destroyed us. I destroyed the best thing in my life. Amanda was nothing. She meant nothing. You were everything. And I was too stupid to see it." I turned to look at him. Really, look at him. And I felt nothing. No anger, no pain, no love, not even hate, just indifference. And that's when I knew I'd truly won. Not because he was sorry. Not because his life had fallen apart, but because I didn't care anymore. "I forgive you, Kevin," I said quietly. "Not for you. For me, because holding on to anger would only hurt me, and I'm done hurting. I hope you figure out your life. I hope you become a better father to Taylor. But you and me, we're done. We've been done since the moment I found that key card." I stood up and moved to a different seat, closer to the front, leaving him sitting there alone. Taylor came running to me after the ceremony, diploma in hand, her smile lighting up the entire room. This was my life now. My daughter, my business, my peace, my success. Kevin texted me later that night, one last message before I blocked him completely. "You were always too good for me. I see that now. I'm sorry I made you feel like you weren't enough. The truth is I was never enough for you." He was right. He wasn't. And it took him losing me to figure that out. If someone betrayed you, remember this. Don't waste energy on revenge. Invest it in yourself. They're expecting tears. Give them triumph. They're expecting you to fall apart. Build an empire instead. Drop a comment telling me your story and hit subscribe for more real stories about turning pain into power. Remember, when they cheat, don't chase. When they lie, don't cry. Just leave. Level up and let your success do the talking. Your silence is your strength. Now go show them what they lost.